So it's quite possible that the Sony Xperia S is a device that you're looking at if you are a owner or previous user of the Xperia Arc or the Xperia Arc S by Sony Ericsson, because the new Sony Xperia S is essentially an evolution of Sony Ericsson's Arc and Arc S. Now I've just got a quick side by side here. We've got the original Xperia Arc and we've got the new Sony Xperia S. Now, taking a look at the two, the Xperia S has a fractionally larger display on this, so it makes it slightly longer, slightly wider, but minimal. It hasn't got quite such a nice curvature to it, certainly a little bit thicker, and in terms of weight, well, very hard to tell. The Arc actually feels the slightly heavier of the unit, but that could be just because of the design. Your fingers naturally go more to the curvature on the back here, so it feels heavier at the bottom, whereas the lack of curvature on the Xperia S sort of spreads the weight a little bit more. So in terms of actual hardware, there's about 0.1 inch difference on the actual display. The Xperia S now has a front-facing camera at 1.3 megapixels. On the back, we have a 12 megapixel camera that records in HD in comparison to the 8.1 megapixel that was on the original Xperia Arc. Processor speeds, well, it was originally a gig on the Xperia Arc. It got upgraded to 1.4 gig on the Xperia S. We're now at a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz. The Xperia Arc had a memory card slot and a removable battery. The Xperia S has a fixed internal battery and fixed internal memory. It is 32 gig internal memory on the Xperia S. So those are the key differences. Let's just take a quick look at the interface. So currently the Xperia S is running Android 2.3. It is upgradable to Ice Cream Sandwich, but at the time of filming that's not available. So you get a very similar feel throughout. You get your customizable home screens. Now this is actually my personal device, so there's more sort of customization with the icons, whereas this is a practically out of the box Xperia S. So you've got a similar feel in terms of the menus. You scroll through like so. There have of course been some updates in terms of icons and some of the interactive features. If we go back to the home screen, we can see here we've got some quick shortcuts which have changed slightly on the Xperia S. So for example, the phone has now changed quite considerably on here, this sort of layout and what have you. If I type in a number, it still auto refines on the Xperia S, but it doesn't do so in quite the same way on the original Arc. Some of the shortcuts have changed, but the principle is very similar. The Xperia S definitely has the better interface now when it comes to that. We've also got the change down here of the buttons. We've got these touch sensitive ones now on the Xperia S. So you've got this illuminated bar which has the antenna in it, and it looks quite nice, but you've actually got to just touch just above it on the little dot that you might be able to see there on the front of the device, whereas you've got the actual physical buttons on the original Arc. So if we were to go into the camera, of course the resolution has been improved on the Xperia S. So we've got a little bit of change in the interface. We've got a sort of slider switch up here now for switching between video and stills. We had a button down here. We've got some very similar icons, slight changes, but nothing too dramatically different. Some of the menus are slightly different. So video size, we could go to 720p HD on the original Xperia Arc. But what we can now do on the Xperia S is go to Full HD. We can drop down to 720 if we chose, but Full HD is where it's at. So the screen is actually better for video playback and what have you. It's really bright and crisp. So in terms of other sort of applications, a lot of them you can download on the Xperia Arc. That you do get some newer ones included on the Xperia S, but you've still got things like Track ID, which are unique to Sony. This is PlayStation certified, where the Xperia Arc isn't, so you can play games that are found on the Sony PlayStation network. So they have to be optimized for the device, so there isn't an extensive amount of games at the moment, but they will be available and more will come in time. Now you can't do that on the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc. It's not PlayStation certified, so it's not going to play the games. We've still got the timescape interface on the Xperia S, so that's the connection with Facebook, Twitter, and how it integrates with your contacts to keep you better connected. Now, there's mixed opinions on that. Not everybody likes timescape. You could get it on the original Xperia Arc. You may or may not choose to use it, but it is there on the Xperia S as well. So really that's about it. You know, you still get the GPS navigation from Google Maps or the Wise Pilot, you get the barcode reader. You do in fact get Astro pre-installed on the Xperia S as well, which is quite a nice feature. And of course there are some other technicality differences, like this has NFC for Xperia smart tags. But overall, those are the main differences, and that's a quick run through of the software differences on the two devices.